Welcome to Cinematic Recaps. This movie is called the DaVinci Code. This movie is about Robert Langdon, a Harvard symbologist, who is summoned to help solve the mysterious murder of the curator of the Louvre Museum in Paris. He is murdered among a number of mysterious clues, codes, and ciphers. The investigation brings him together with French cryptologist Sophie Neveu. The investigation ultimately leads to the discovery of a religious mystery protected by a secret society for 2,000 years, which could shake the foundations of Christianity. Sit back and enjoy. Silas, a mysterious man in a hood, is following a man who turns out to be Jacques Saunière through the Grand Gallery at the Louvre in Paris. Silas is later revealed to be a member of Opus Dei, an ultra-conservative Catholic sect that wants to destroy the Priory of Chaon, a secret society sworn to protect the Holy Grail. If there was proof that the Grail exists, it would eventually reveal a secret that would be very terrible for the Roman Catholic Church. Silas demands the location of the Priory's clef de voûte or keystone. Saunière eventually says that the keystone is kept beneath the rose in the sacristy of the Church of Saint Sulpice. Silas says thank you and then shoots him in the stomach. The French police get in touch with American symbologist Robert Langdon, who is in Paris to talk about symbols and the sacred feminine as a guest lecturer for AUP. They tell him to go to the Louvre to visit the crime scene. He finds out that Saunière, who is dying, used his own body and blood to make an intricate display. Captain Bezafash asks what he thinks about the strange scene. Langdon figures out that the pentacle drawn on the stomach and the way the body was posed were similar to Leonardo da Vinci's drawing of the Vitruvian Man. A bloody note with a secret message is found next to the body. It starts with the numbers in the Fibonacci sequence, but they are not in the correct order. Silas calls a mysterious man called the Teacher. He tells the teacher that he killed all 4 protectors of the keystone and that they all pointed to the same place. He wears a metal cilis on his thigh and beats himself with a whip because he killed someone. Silas then goes to Saint Sulpice, where an old nun lets him in. When she leaves him alone, he digs under the floor of the church and finds a stone with the words Job 38 verse 11. When he talks to the nun, she says, "Hitherto shalt thou, but no further." When Silas finds out he has been misled, he is furious and kills the nun. Sophie Neveu, a cryptologist for the French police, also goes to the Louvre. She gives Langdon a note that tells him where the men's room is. There, Sophie meets him and tells him that he is being tracked. A GPS tracking dot has been, unknown by him, slipped into his jacket and that he is a primary suspect in the murder case because of a line of text found by the corpse, "P.S. Find Robert Langdon." Sophie, on the other hand, thinks that Saunière, who turns out to be her grandfather, wanted to give her a secret message and wanted Langdon to be involved so that he could help her figure out the code. After taking off the tracking device and buying some time, the two start to look around the Louvre based on what they learned from the message written in blood. It turns out that the part of the message that reads "O draconian devil, O lame saint" is actually an anagram, which, when the letters are rearranged, spells Leonardo da Vinci and the Mona Lisa. When they look around that painting, they find another coded message, "So dark the con of man." It turns out that this is an anagram for Madonna of the Rocks, another painting by Da Vinci that can be seen at the Louvre. Near that second painting, the pair find a key with a fleur-de-lis. Pursued by the French police and cut off from the United States Embassy, the pair escape to the Bois de Boulogne where Langdon closely inspects the key. He sees a name and an address written on the side. The address tells them to go to the Depository Bank of Zurich, where the key opens a safety deposit box. They find Saunière's safe deposit box at the bank and use the order of the 10-digit Fibonacci numbers to open it. Inside the box, they find a rosewood box with a cryptex inside. A cryptex is a cylindrical box with 5 alphabetical dials that must be set up in the right order to spell out a 5-letter code word in order to open the box and get to the message written on parchment inside. If you tried to force the cryptex open, you would break a vial of vinegar inside. The vinegar would then leak out and dissolve the parchment, which would destroy the message. Unfortunately, a security guard calls the police, and they have to leave. André Vernet, the manager of the bank, helps them get away by putting them in an armored van as passengers. This way, they can avoid being caught by the police during their regular checks. Langdon and Neveu talk for a long time in the back of the truck about the cryptex. Neveu says that her grandfather used to play games with her that had to do with cryptexes. Langdon says that the cryptex might hold valuable information or another clue about what they are trying to discover. At some point, they stop all of a sudden, and Vernay pulls a gun on them to make them give him the cryptex. Langdon tricks Vernay and gets him to drop his gun. He and Sophie then run away with the cryptex. Langdon suggests that they go see his friend Li T-Bing to get help opening the cryptex. Li T-Bing is a passionate seeker of the Holy Grail, which he thinks is not a cup but Mary Magdalene, who was sent away because Jesus' followers didn't want to follow a woman after their leader died. Mary was pregnant at the time, and T-Bing tells Sophie that the descendants of Jesus were protected by a secret group called the Priory of Chaon and its military arm, the Knights Templar. People thought that Jacques Saunier was a member of this group, and T-Bing thinks that he was teaching Sophie how to join. Silas, on the other hand, breaks into T-Bing's house and tries to take the cryptex. T-Bing uses his cane to knock Silas out and they escape again. The group gets away in T-Bing's plane, and the next clue leads them to London. This clue was found underneath the rose carved on the wooden box containing the cryptex. The message, which had to be read using a mirror, refers to a night a pope interred. The French told the London police that fugitives were on T-Bing's private jet, so Langdon and Sophie barely got away from them. Instead of going to the library, they used a fellow bus passenger's smartphone to look up words from the clue on the internet. The search results showed that the Pope was talking about Alexander Pope, who wrote Sir Isaac Newton's tombstone. This leads them to Newton's tomb at Westminster Abbey. As shown in the last scene of the movie, when the small pyramid under the inverse glass pyramid was taken apart, there was no chamber. It is revealed that Remy Jean is actually a follower of the teacher as well, however he is killed by the mysterious man after freeing Silas. When the police attack Silas, he accidentally shoots Bishop Manuel Aringarosa in the crossfire. Silas kills himself out of grief, and the police help him. Aringarosa is taken to the hospital and arrested by Fash for betraying him. As Langdon gets closer to figuring out the mystery, T-Bing, who turns out to be the teacher, turns on him. T-Bing said he wanted to find Mary Magdalene's remains to prove he was right about the Holy Grail. If Langdon doesn't figure out the code, T-Bing says he will shoot Sophie. Langdon responds by throwing the cryptex into the air. T-Bing catches it, but drops it, and it hits the ground. When the bottle of vinegar breaks, it seems to get on the document and ruin it. After T-Bing is arrested, it is revealed that Langdon had cracked the code and removed the clue from the cryptex before throwing it. The code word had something to do with an orb located somewhere on the tomb, but Langdon later realized that there was every orb conceivable on that tomb except one, the orb which fell from the heavens and inspired Newton's life's work that made the church hate him until the day he died. Apple. The parchment inside the cryptex had the following message: "The Holy Grail neath ancient Rosslyn waits / the blade and chalice watch o'er her gates / adorned by masters loving art she lies / as she rests beneath the starry skies." Using the clue, they go to Rosslyn Chapel in Scotland, which is where Magdalene's body had been hidden. In a secret underground chamber, Langdon notices how the clue precisely describes this chamber, but the center of the room is empty, as if Magdalene's tomb has been removed. They meet other members of the secret group that looked out for Mary Magdalene at the chapel. It is revealed that Sophie is actually Magdalene's descendant and therefore is the current living descendant of Jesus Christ. They promise to protect her. Sophie wonders if she should tell the world her secret even though Magdalene's remains have gone missing. Langdon thinks about whether, if you had the chance, you would rather destroy faith or restore it. As Langdon and Sophie are saying goodbye, Sophie steps into a pond to try to walk on water. Unsuccessful, she jokes, "Maybe I'll do better with the wine." Langdon cuts himself shaving in Paris, and the line of blood on the sink reminds him of the rose line. He follows the rose line and, realizing that the clue from the cryptex also fits this new location, he determines that the location of the Holy Grail is buried under the pyramid in the Louvre. Langdon then gets down on his knees in front of Mary Magdalene's tomb, just like the Templar Knights did before him. And that is the end of this movie. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for daily updates of movie recaps like this. We want you to comment what movie you want next. Thanks for watching.